Today's Sunday, so you guys know what that means. Another weekly technicals video. We do these every single Sunday at 10 a.m. Live for my premium group inside of the Facebook group. And I share them with you guys on YouTube so you guys can look at the technicals for the week ahead and the things that I'm going to be looking for in all the majors. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, guys? My name is Jrod4x and welcome to another video. If you want to learn how to trade Forex using technical analysis and price action and all kind of other Forex related stuff, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell icon so you don't miss anything. What's going on, guys? This is going to be the weekly technicals video for July 15th. So I hope everyone had a good weekend, and let's go ahead and jump right into this. While I'm going over the news events for the week, if you guys could just post a 1 in the chat box just to let me know that you can see my screen and also hear me, that would be awesome. So getting started, taking a look at Forex Factory for the economic news releases for this week. We have a Japanese holiday today, so again, we don't normally trade Sundays or anything like that. Typically, if you're new here, just to let you know, we mainly trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and occasionally Friday, depending on if the setup is there. Last week we did trade on Friday, but if it's an NFP news event or something like that, we won't trade on Fridays. But this week, for Monday, it actually looks like we may have a New York session set up, and the reason that I know that is because we do have a lot of dollar index news. So we have core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index, all at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that will likely have a setup in the majors. So dollar CAD, as well, because there's a Canadian dollar release. So we could see a lot of volatility in dollar CAD here, as well as pretty much all of the majors. So anything paired with the U.S. dollar index. Now looking at Tuesday, we have our GBP news. We've got a speaker, average earnings index, claimant count change, unemployment rate. So 1 to 1:30 Pacific Standard Time Tuesday, so London session. This will likely be a setup for us in cable, so GBP USD. And then again, we have some more dollar index news, New York session Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday look good in terms of potential trading opportunities. Wednesday as well, we have another cable, so GBP USD news event during London session. We've got Euro final CPI at 2 a.m., so that's a London session. Potential setup for Euro USD. Then dollar index news again, building permits and housing starts for 5:30 a.m. New York session Wednesday. And then we got another speaker at 7 a.m. and then crude oil inventories Wednesday at 7:30. So this week honestly looks really good for what I'm seeing so far. And then we've got unemployment rate and employment change for Australian dollar 6:30 p.m. So we can watch this Asia session on Wednesday. So, I mean, I see, plenty of opportunities for us this week. So I think, once we go ahead and look at the charts too, we'll be able to take a look at the technicals. But Thursday, we've got more cable news, London session. So we'll keep an eye on cable here. Dollar index, New York session Thursday. And then we got a lot of stuff for Canadian dollar on Friday. So dollar CAD will probably have a busy day, Friday, New York session. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Looking at dollar index, we're going to start with a weekly time frame here just because I want to go over the analysis since we are going to be starting a new week and just kind of talk about with where we're at in the current range because there's a few things that I could see happening here. So there's 3 scenarios that I see unfolding, a bullish, bearish, and also consolidation. So obviously those are the only 3 ways the market can move. So those are the 3 scenarios that I have an idea about. And the potential objectives for those are, we have these equal highs here. So this is my target, 95.50 for the upside. So if dollar index wants to continue trading higher, 95.50 is the next stop. I think they're going. Now, if they decide to show us weakness from here and start trading lower, I think they're going to go for these equal lows at 93.20. Now, what I want to talk about with you guys is we could consolidate in this range. I don't necessarily see that happening, but for the remainder of the month, they could potentially consolidate in this range because it's the summer. A lot of people are on vacation, things like that, so they're not putting a lot of money at risk. So the markets, do tend to consolidate sometimes during the summer. So we could see that effect happen. Again, I don't necessarily, see that unfolding. Especially with this week, we have a lot of dollar index news and things like that. So I think we're going to get a lot of volatility in all of the pairs, really. But I'm just curious to see what dollar index is going to do, because initially last week I was expecting weakness. We didn't really get too much of that, but I want to see if we can if we're going to start trading below these equal lows. So what I'm thinking could be a potential scenario for this is we could run up above 95.50, take out these equal highs, trade back in. We'll trade into this ICT weekly bearish order block here. So this up move, it hasn't been traded to yet. These candles missed it, and these candles missed it as well. So I'm thinking they could push up, take out those equal highs, trade into this level of resistance, and then show us a pretty nice rejection from there, and start selling off pretty hard and taking out each swing low that's going to be nearest to the current market price. So what I mean by that is if we come up above here and start trading lower, then we're going to target these lows here at 94 big figure. Then we're going to target these lows at 93.20, and then we're going to look for this equal high, this old high back here to be retested, which would be structure, right? Because the market broke out here and we haven't retested that level. So they could find support here once they get down to this level, but this provides us 400 to 500 pips on the downside that we could expect dollar index before we see a potential bullish move. So that's ideally what I'd like to see. I'd like to see them come up above here, clean out these equal highs really quickly, but show immediate rejection. So push up into this bearish order block, clear out the equal highs, and then show immediate selling. So we're going to drop down to a daily time frame now, and you can see this stuff a little bit clearer. We've got the equal lows here marked by this X, and then we've got the equal highs here, and this red line is that weekly ICT bearish order block. So that comes in at the 95.60 level. So you guys could see that we could very well come above these equal highs at 95.50, trade 10 pips above that into 95.60. Then we start to sell off from there and then start sweeping these lows. So that is what I would like to see ideally. If we go ahead and draw our fibs on this swing here, so from this low to the equal highs, so the equal lows to the equal highs. Now the reason I'm using this swing is because this is the swing that broke market structure. So they have a higher high that was posted in the market right here that was higher than this previous high, and this is the current low that's in place. So you guys can see that we traded down into the 70.5 Fibonacci retracement, and then we've shown bullish price action off of that level. So since we are above 50% of this range here, so between these lows and these highs, I'm more inclined to believe that they would come above 95.50 before coming down below 93.20. So that's something I'm anticipating. That this is kind of why I'm looking at that bullish scenario, right? Why I'm thinking they may poke up above here and then sell off from there, because last week we found support and then we started trading higher. Now we didn't make a higher high, so I get that we didn't make a higher high, but we did make a higher low, and that higher low is respecting the daily structure. So we have to, we have to respect that. So although I was looking for sells last week, we didn't necessarily get these equal lows. So now that they're above this 94.36, which is the 50% level of these fibs, and just so you guys know, I really only use this 50% level to kind of see where I'm at in the range. So I know that we're above the 50% level, and we have these equal highs here. So I think it's more likely that they're going to want to come here. Now, if they come back below the 94.36 level on a daily time frame, then we can expect them to run this low here at the 94 big figure, and then ultimately trade back below these equal lows at 93.20. So this 94.36 is going to basically be the level that indicates to me which way are they going to go. So as long as they stay above that, I'm going to expect them to trade above 95.50. And if they close below that on a daily basis, then we have to look at 94 big figure and 93.20. So make sure you guys keep this level 94.36 on your charts. We want to watch what price action does around that level. So let me go ahead and I'm going to mark it up right now on mine. And I usually use, anytime you guys see these like speckled lines like this, those are just like measuring like 50% of something. So that's kind of how I identify it, as like 50% of the range, or whatever it is that I'm looking at. So that black line right here is that 94.36 level, and that's what I'm going to be watching. So I want to see if they're going to poke above this and just show us rejection. I don't want to see them hold it above here and then start trading higher, because if they do close on a daily basis above these equal highs, then we need to start looking and expecting higher prices for a potential run on this old daily high at 96.50. Okay, and that's only if we close above these equal highs on a daily basis. If we just poke our head above here and show rejection immediately, so you can see that rejection on a 15-minute, a 30-minute, a 1-hour time frame. You'll see them. It'll look pretty much exactly how this candle did. It'll be a long wick, and then they'll show immediate rejection, and that's what I want to see happen above these equal highs. So going into the week, something I'm expecting is dollar index to push up. So we have that news Monday, so we can expect or anticipate that news on Monday drives price higher in dollar index to the 95.60 level. What that would do is basically get all the retail traders thinking that dollar index had a breakout, and dollar index is going to start pushing up, all this crazy stuff, right? We would see that as a stop run only if they show rejection. So there may be divergence happening between some of the majors, and euro forms a higher low, while dollar index forms a higher high, indicating that there's strength in euro dollar. And if that's the case, then we could clearly go into that market knowing that likely dollar index is just performing a stop run on these equal highs, and will likely trade lower from there. So that is what I'm expecting, and that's honestly the main thing that I'd like to see unfold this week. So Monday, have price trade above here, and then that would allow us to have a really good potential buying opportunity set up in cable and euro, and really any of the majors, with the inverse in dollar CAD and dollar yen. We could look for potential sell setups in those. We're going to have to watch price action and see what we get once market opens today, and then London session tonight. But we may have a potential trade that I call for you guys tomorrow, New York session. So that'll be kind of a rare occurrence, because we normally don't trade Mondays, but this week we could have a potential setup tomorrow during New York session. So keep an eye out in the Telegram group for that. And let me go ahead and see if there's anything else that I need to talk about on the lower time frames here. No, so in terms of a 4-hour basis, we do have this ICT bullish order block here, this down candle before the strong push up. So I'd like to see them when they trade into this, say they open up the market today, they drive price lower right into 94.44, which is still above that 50% level, hold support there, and then start pushing up. So if we can get them to trade into this level and show us support, say that happens during London session tonight, we can look for a retracement opportunity to get in on a potential sell on euro or cable, just for a day trade, just something quick, while dollar index does take out these equal highs. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on with this. And keep your eyes on this 4-hour ICT bullish order block here. That's right above this 50% level. And with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to move into the majors now. And we're going to start off with euro dollar. And we're going to work from a weekly time frame down, just how we did on dollar index. And with this one here, we do have these equal lows. So actually, I don't know why these are off my, oh, maybe they show up on a daily. Yeah, okay. We're just going to use a daily for this one. There's really no need to operate from the weekly. There's nothing in terms that I'm looking for other than these equal lows down here and this swing high. So that's the levels that I'm looking for on the weekly basis. But we're going to move down to a daily because it's a lot clearer for you guys to see. So this low and this low here, relatively equal lows, and we would expect the market to want to trade below these equal lows. So let's say dollar index does just start like ripping higher and starts pushing up crazy, then we're going to see, significant selling in the majors. Well, the majors that have the dollar index as the secondary currency pair. So Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, NZD USD, all that stuff. We could see potential selling opportunities if dollar index gains some strength and starts pushing up. So with that being said, Monday, New York session, if dollar index does trade higher, there may be a potential selling opportunity in euro dollar. Maybe not all the way down below these equal lows down here, but to run the old daily liquidity, or if we drop down into lower time frames such as the 4-hour here, we could see a run on this low, and yeah, I mean, ultimately the liquidity is sitting below these equal lows here. So if they do trade lower, that 1.1520 to 1.15 big figure is where I'm expecting them to go. Now looking at this on the 4-hour time frame here, you guys can see the reaction that we had off of that quarterly level that we mentioned. I think it was 2 weeks ago in the weekly technicals, or it might have been last week. But this quarterly level is just a level on a 3-month time frame. So we're on a 3-month chart, and this high right here, this down candle is classified as an ICT bullish order block once this candle breaks above it. So it did retest it here, and it came back and retested it here as well, and then it retested it again yesterday, and you can see that here. So the key thing to notice is this was the old low. It formed a higher low off of that. So dollar index may not need to go back above those equal highs. We could see immediate selling in dollar index, which could lead to strength in euro dollar and cable and all those other pairs because of the fact that we see the reaction off of this quarterly level and euro dollar specifically. Okay, so this pair could have more strength than the other majors because it is coming off of such a higher time frame level. A quarterly level, think about the impact it's going to have on price versus a daily level. This is 3 months worth of price action, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a lot quicker, and that's why you see this reaction here. 3 4-hour candles, massive big up candles, totaling up to about 70 pips or so. So that nice movement for a Friday overall because that's pretty much what happened coming off of that quarterly level. So if we do get above this high here at basically 1.17 big figure, I want to see if we're going to hold above that and start continuing higher. But we could find some rejection there because that is an ICT bearish order block, this down candle here. And if dollar index is trading into support at the same time, then this would be a logical selling opportunity for us in euro dollar at this ICT bearish order block with our stop above here, targeting this low as our first target and then this low here as our next target. Only if dollar index is showing strength and looks like it wants to trade above those equal highs. That would be the only reason we'd look to sell this. So that's why we have to wait for London session to unfold tonight and see what we get, because at the moment we're about to break market structure on a 4-hour time frame and break above these highs. Now, just because we make a higher high here doesn't necessarily mean price is going to go higher. It's something we need to consider, but we also need to look at this ICT bearish order block and see if the lower time frames, 5 and 15 minute, are showing us lower lows and lower highs, which would indicate the market is being sold off of this level here, and then we could look for those lower prices. So that's how I want to play euro dollar. Now in terms of the level that you guys want to be looking for is it's going to be this ICT bearish order block. So this low comes in at 1695. So 1695 to about 1720. I want to see how the market behaves around those price levels, and I want to see if we show or signal some sort of bearish price action by forming lower lows and lower highs on the lower time frames. So I'm just going to keep the low on my chart. I'm not going to mark out like the open and all that stuff, because once I know that this level gets hit, I know I need to be looking for weakness. So it can happen anywhere within this ICT bearish order block, but whenever I see that that lower low form and then it comes back and retests, I could look to sell it there and place my stop loss here, targeting the lows. So keep an eye on this 1695 up into really that 1710 to 1720 level, because that's where I'm going to be expecting that weakness if this pair is going to continue lower. So let's go ahead and we'll move to GBP USD now, cable. We did have a nice trade on this on Friday London session. So we pretty much got down to the 31 big figure. The low came in at 31.026 on this platform, so that was 2.6 pips away from take profit 3, which would have been all of the take profits hit. I didn't necessarily close out at this low down here. I closed out once it started pushing up because I was asleep, but I did close 90% of the position off at take profit 2, which was that 31.50 level. And I knew, once I locked in that, which was already like 50 or 60 pips, whatever the number was, I was content with, if I gave any profit back or anything, because it was only 10% of my position. So that trade from Friday on cable worked out well. And we did hit, I'll go ahead and say we hit all take profit 1, 2, and 3, because we were only 2.6 pips away from it. And if you were awake, you should have definitely closed there. Being so close, you don't hold on for that extra 2 pips. And now if you were awake and watching it, and the market did give you 31.02, and you didn't close because it didn't hit 31 big figure, well, then that's a really important lesson that you just learned. And generally you want to close 5 to 10 pips before the take profit level gets hit. So for me, for example, if I was awake and the market was trading down and we're at 31.10, I would have went ahead and closed my position before it even got down to 31 big figure, just in case it did what it did. And look exactly what happened, right? It rejected and pushed higher. And you can anticipate that on a Friday. That's why we were just looking for a short trade during London session. And if you were awake during New York provided you an optimal trade entry here that ICT talks about at the 79% retracement level. So the market broke out of structure here, retraced down into the 79% retracement level. What we were doing for our sell is we were working off the order block. So this candle broke below this ICT bearish order block. We sold it at the ICT bearish order block, and this was why 31 big figure was right below here, which was this ICT bullish order block. That's why that was my target for take profit 3, because I knew if we got down to this level, we could see some sort of pullback or retracement, and that's exactly what we have here. So this doesn't necessarily mean we're going back above this high, because we could find resistance in here and all that, but we do see the evidence of using these fibs on the swings that break out of structure, waiting for it to pull back into that. So even though we sold it during London, if you missed that signal and you were awake during New York, you could have bought the market here with your stop loss below this low, targeting this high as your first objective. So the high comes in at 32.44. You wouldn't have got that level because it didn't print on Friday, but the high did come in at 32.38, which would have been within that 10 pip range of that take profit being hit. So start using that 5 to 10 pip take profit range. If the market's trading close to a level, make sure that you close out Just in case you do get a retracement or a pullback, you don't want to sit through that. Like, let's think about it. If we sold it here, would you want to have went through, this whole weekend knowing that the market closed here and it's so close to your entry versus closing out all your profits here, right before this move happened? So this is why I close out my profits early. This is why I'm not always expecting, huge moves, especially on a Friday. The fact that we were able to, lock in the amount of profit that we did in terms of pips on a Friday was already a blessing. So there was no need to, be looking for this low or nothing crazy. And we anticipated a potential retracement. So the key is to always anticipate retracements, pullbacks, whatever you want to call it, Thursdays going into Friday, because the week's coming to an end. So, the week has to close. Generally, the week doesn't, if it's not too much of a trending week, it's not going to close, if it's a bearish week, it's not going to close making a lower low. So, okay, we haven't even really talked about this pair yet on the daily, so let's go ahead and do that. I just kind of got in a rant talking about our trade that we took on Friday in the premium group. So if you're watching this portion of the weekly technicals on YouTube, the recording, and you want to join the premium group, then just click the link down below. It's in the description, and you can join that. So looking at cable right here on the daily time frame, what I want to talk about is, really it's not giving us anything clear, right? We made this higher high here, so this is a higher high, higher than this previous one, and since then we have made this higher low, but I don't necessarily see them wanting to go all the way back up here yet. So they could potentially find some resistance at this daily ICT bearish order block here and still come below this triple bottom or whatever that we got, whatever you want to call it. But we've got a low here, and also a low here. So we've got a lot of liquidity built up below this level. And I'd like to see if they can come below this before starting to trade higher. But they don't necessarily have to do that. So I want to see how they react off of this ICT bearish order block here on a daily basis early on in the week. So, between today's open and through London session tonight. And we'll see if there's a potential setup for, there may be a potential sell setup for this pair if we can show some weakness off of this to trade below this triple bottom if dollar index shows us that strength going for those equal highs. And that could be a nice trade to kind of kickstart our week. So that's something that I'm anticipating for this 4-hour time frame. Again, this is what we were just looking at. We formed the higher low at the 79% retracement level after having the break in structure here. So nice little buy opportunity for New York session if anybody was up. And not really too much else to talk about there. But I do want to talk about the this 15-minute order block where we sold it at, because I posted something in the Telegram group, and I want to show you guys what that was really quickly. Okay, it was here. All right, so all right, I'm trying to pull this up, my bad guys. All right, this screenshot. So I said, quiz, what is this? And if you answered an ICT bearish order block, you were right. And I want to go ahead and talk about why. So we had these two up candles, and then we had this down candle here. So this down candle didn't necessarily close below these up candles. So, if you didn't sell it here on this candle, that's okay. Now, if you look before that, we had another up candle here before this lower low, and then these two up candles traded into that. So this was a nice sell here if you took it here. If you missed that and it traded lower and you didn't get on board this one, because if I was looking at it at this time, I wouldn't have got on board this because it didn't close below these candles yet. Now, once this one formed and then you had these two candles, it was valid. This now becomes an ICT bearish order block because this candle closed lower than this one. So what would be the next thing we anticipate? We would expect the market to trade into anywheres within this candle, find resistance, and then start to sell off. So let's go ahead and compare that to what actually happened in price action, and we are gonna go over that right now. Okay. All right, so this should allow you guys to see it on both sides. All right, perfect. So this is the same candle. This should help you guys be able to identify ICT bullish and bearish order blocks after learning what I'm about to talk about here. So this bullish candle that we were talking about over here, right before it traded into it, this was a bearish candle. Notice what this candle is doing right here. It's bullish. It's a bullish candle, right? So it has to trade higher into this before being able to sell off. Look at the candle. This is the same candle that we're looking at over here. That's a green up candle. This is the same candle. It just closed bearish. But you know what it did, because this is the importance of looking at the open, high, low, and close of every candle. The market opened here, traded up. So it was a bullish candle. It traded up into what? This bullish candle, which was what? Resistance. So then what happened? The market instantly started rejecting and traded lower, right? Because the market had already proved to us that they want to go lower. Because here we made a lower low, lower than this low. Then we traded back up and we retested the level. This was the same thing. This setup right here was what we mentioned in the daily technicals on Thursday. I said the market made a lower, I said I wanted to see the market make a lower low and then trade back up and retest the level. So we did that. We retested the level. Then going into London session, we made a lower low again. And then we traded back up into this ICT bearish order block, sold off, proved to me that they're still selling. Then we formed another one. This candle closed, and then this candle validated the order block. And then this candle opened, traded up into it, provided us the sell opportunity. And then you guys can see 15, 30, 45 minutes. And we basically had, how many pips is that? 50 pips locked in profit in less than an hour. So this is, there's no fear about, oh, I missed the move up here, because there was an opportunity as it traded back up here. There was an opportunity as it traded up here. There was an opportunity here. And there was also an opportunity here. Right? So I just wanted to talk about that with you guys really quickly, because you may have not have caught that if you're in the group. And this is how I trade. This is what I work off of. And these are the things I look for. So this is what I seen real time. This ICT bearish order block, sent it to you guys in the signal group. Then I was expecting the market to trade up into it. We seen that, sold off. So the signal came to you guys as the market was pushing up into this one, but I sent you this one as it formed after the fact, just to kind of quiz you guys and see if anyone would maybe add another position on it here, or if they would be able to identify that this is a bearish order block. But no one reached out to me and told me anything, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it in today's video, so you guys would actually benefit from what this picture was showing you. So hope that helped you guys, for anybody struggling with order blocks, or also just kind of understanding my trading style better, because that is what I do. And that's what I look for. That's how I enter it. That's the whole thing. So in terms of what I'm expecting for cable for the rest of the week, going into this week, I'd like to see if we can show some rejection at, whether we want to trade above this high, or if we just start rejecting from here. I want to see if we're going to come back below these lows. So pretty much at the 3080, so 3080 to 3050 is really going to be the levels I'm looking for. So 3080 is this ICT bullish order block, these series of down candles that haven't been traded to yet. So that's why I'm expecting that as a potential bounce if they trade into that. and then we have the 30-50, which is this low back here, pretty much lining up with that triple bottom that we have on the daily time frame. So keep an eye out for that for the downside. Now, if we start trading higher, I think we're going to blow out this high here at 33.60, and if that's the case, we're just going to keep taking this thing higher above each swing high. So if we do start pushing up, what we're going to do is just target each swing high. So target 1, target 2, target 3, and then so forth, target 4. You can see that we have very equal highs back here, so we'll just go ahead and mark this on our charts. We'll just throw a little X on it. So whenever the market does trade to that, we can pretty much just say, we knew it was going there before the fact. So what is that level? It is 35 big figure to 35.20. So that is going to be the level we're going to be looking for. Longer term upside objective, because we have these equal highs here. So we'll see what we get on cable for that. But that is much longer term if we do just break above this high. Ultimately, we have to get above this high here to start targeting these highs back here. But if we hold this high right here, then I'm expecting them to just sell off and then take out that 30.80 to 30.50, and then ultimately that 30 big figure level. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at Euro GBP really quickly and see what's going on with that. Okay, so yeah, we still really didn't get anything with this. Still pretty much in this big mess. Nothing really going on with this pair. But again, if you're new, I use Euro GBP to basically determine the direction on which pair would be the better mover. So if this pair is moving higher, then I would expect Euro dollar to be stronger than GBP USD. And then if this pair is moving down, then I would expect GBP USD to be stronger than Euro USD. And obviously we have to factor in the dollar index as well, because the dollar index plays a part in that currency pair. But just in a very simple form, I just look for, what is this pair going to do, move up or down? Now, since we've been holding this massive consolidation here, I'm pretty much saying that Euro and cable can move together. So I don't necessarily think one will be stronger or weaker than the other. Now, if this starts, making, higher highs and we start getting, massive expansion to the upside, then it's obvious that Euro is stronger than GBP. So at that point, we should, be looking for potential buy opportunities in Euro. So that's kind of how I'll play this. But, really there's no movement in here. We have made a higher high, once this candle formed a higher high, and then we traded lower. And then we formed another higher high. So it could pretty much just bang around in here. It doesn't necessarily have to just start trading higher. It's been in this consolidation for a while, so I don't think it's going to stay in this consolidation forever. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see once this thing starts moving what happens in Euro and cable, because then I think then we'll get some really big trending moves. But with this thing being held in a pretty tight range, Euro USD and GBP USD are pretty much free to do their own thing, and they should move, pretty much exactly in sync with the dollar index. For those pairs specifically, they're going to be inverse to the dollar index, but for them, they are correlated pairs, so you would expect them. They're inversely correlated, not positively correlated. So you would expect them to move inversely to the dollar index, but overall, it should move in sync together. So if the dollar index makes a higher high, Euro USD should make a lower low, and same for cable. So that's GBP USD. And let's see, we could take a quick look at, dollar yen. We just had massive explosion to the upside all week. So this pair, just wasn't given really any shit about anything else. It just took off. So that's pretty cool. I didn't take part in any of this at all. In terms of what I see unfolding for this, though, I'd like to see if they can hold support here. Whenever they trade back into this high at 111.40 to 111.50, it'll be interesting to see if they can hold support and continue higher. But ultimately, they are within this series of up candles. So these 3 up candles classify as an ICT bearish order block. And again, an ICT bearish order block is classified once or validated once a bearish candle trades through them. That happened here. No candle traded back up into it until now. So we could very well see weakness from here and see this high hold. And even this high right here be a potentially longer term high in dollar yen if we start selling off. So ultimately, if dollar index does trade lower, I'd like to see, do we find support here? If not, and break through, then we can look for each low to be taken out. And ultimately, there is a triple bottom somewheres on this pair. Maybe you can't see it on the daily, but maybe it's somewheres in here. But we'll look at it on a lower time frame. Let's see, 4 hour. Yeah, right here. So you guys can see there's like these 3 lows right here, relatively triple bottom or whatever you want to call it. So if they do trade lower and break through this level of 111.40 and start making a lower low below this ICT bullish order block, then we could pretty much expect them to take out this triple bottom. If it doesn't get all the way down there, then at least these equal lows here at 110.30. So I mean that's 200 pips from where it's at now. So we'll have to see what we get early on in the week. Asia session today, when the market opens up, we'll see what we get. I mean, so far it is forming lower lows and lower highs on a 15-minute time frame, but ultimately I'd like to see them break below this, at least to confirm that they're going to trade down into this order block, which could be a nice little scalp for like 30 pips or so. So what that would look like would just be, I'll draw this line out, see the market trade below it, and then all we would look for is a retest for a sell, and at that point we can expect the market to trade lower, not like crazy lower or anything like that, but at least down into this potential well, not potential, this is a valid ICT bullish order block, but it could potentially trade down into it and hold as support, because it's a valid ICT bullish order block because this candle here traded above it and no candle has traded down into it yet. So if the market structure breaks here, break below this low, then we can sell this retest and look for our target to be achieved here, and that'll just be a quick little scalp from 111.90 down into 111.60. So most people think like with scalping and things like that they have to like sell it while it's up here, like all by like near the top, if this is the top, but generally what I do is I just wait for a break of structure, and if you're a scalper, then you would use like a 15-minute time frame for those scalp setups. Just wait for a break of structure. How do you know what a break of structure is you have to look at the swing that you're within. So this is the low and this is the high. So if this high holds, where would be the next level you would expect them to go? Here. So if they go there, then they've proven to you that they're selling this market. So at that point, they're either going to continue here, or they're going to, most likely what will happen, which is usually what happens, is they'll retest old support, because this was a level of support. Once it traded through it, it'll become a level of resistance, and there you would be looking to sell it with a target of this level, where we could see potential buying come in the market. So that's just a quick little explanation, but that's how we can do a potential scalp on this pair if we get that if we get that unfolding in price action. So you guys keep that on your charts and keep a lookout for that. Now dollar CAD, this pair. So I mean, I'm really not liking dollar CAD, to be honest. I haven't really wanted to trade this pair because I just personally do not see anything that I would want to act on. We haven't formed a higher high, so we have formed a lower high here, so we could start trading lower. If dollar index does trade up above those equal highs, then obviously we have to expect higher prices on dollar CAD. Now, where would they go? I'm expecting it, if they continue up, they should find resistance at this these series of up candles, these 3 up candles, are an ICT bearish order block. So it was confirmed once this candle traded through it. Now this candle did retest it and sell off. So it may not find resistance there, but we'll just have to see what we get on the lower time frames. But ultimately, I'm just going to be kind of chilling for any trades on dollar CAD because I don't really see anything with this, and I don't want to put any money at risk on a pair that just doesn't look clear to me. So I mean, that's me personally. I mean, if you guys see something in this that I don't, let me know. But I know that we've taken out this high and then we've sold off, but ultimately, to me, we're still respecting bullish structure. Like we're hanging around this old high, and we've gotten back above that now. We've shown support coming off of this ICT bullish order block. Well, it's not necessarily an ICT bullish order block, but it's an old high, which was resistance because the market sold off from there. Once it traded above it, it's acting as support and traded higher. So, that's kind of why I have mixed feelings about this, because it's showing support, but I'm initially, expecting only a little bit of upside on dollar index just to clear out those equal highs, then sell off. So in terms of what I'm really looking for this pair, I would like to see them take it lower personally. But in terms of a tradable setup, I don't really have anything, at least until we get below this ICT bullish order block here that I've been talking about. So if we get below this low that comes in at 29.50, yeah, 29.50, then we can target like these lows here and this low and this low and this low and all that stuff. But I'm not really focused on this pair right now because I don't see anything clear again. But so if you guys trade this, just be cautious. Just always do your analysis. Really, dial yourself into price action. But I personally don't see anything clear. These equal highs, are a potential target for the upside if dollar index pushes higher. So there's just a lot of things with this pair that I don't really like at this current moment and where it's at in price. So I'm just going to stay away from it. And that's pretty much it for this weekly technical session, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the Q&A portion now and stop the recording.
After this track, I might need me some lozenges. I ain't about to go soft. This rapping shit lately been pissing me off. Guess these words are kinda just at the tip of my tongue, but I'm still young and I hope I find the rhymes that'll live through time before that fat lady has sung. Cause when I'm inside this booth, feels like I rule the world. But I'll hop off my horse, hop in your Porsche, give it a